fire that will not go out. What is it? The damn Fyre Festival. We're being sucked into talking about it. Coming at you.
Hello from Detroit. I'm Cait.
I'm Joel.
And we're talking about the Fyre Festival. So just to get things started, why are we talking about it right now?
Well, it seems to not die. It's two new documentaries about it. So once again, it's all the buzz. And once again, the knee-jerk reaction to a $27 million fraud is somehow influencers are at fault.
Right.
And so we're having to rehash the same arguments that we had, 2 years ago now?
Yep, 2017.
2 years ago now. So let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. So it's on Netflix, it's on Hulu, so obviously it's a part of culture, conversation, everyone's talking about it. And the thing that a lot of my friends have been asking me is, what does this have to do with influencer? What did we learn from the influencer marketing arena in this situation? And what do we take from it going forward? And so I'd like to ask you, what do you think happened here? And why are people focused on influencers here?
Yeah, well, this is one because, all right, so what happened? One, you have this massive debacle. And before there was any kind of real investigation, before anything was actually known about what had happened or the why or even how many tickets were sold, the one thing that media outlets like the New York Times, which should have known better, the one thing that they knew is that influencers promoted it. Kendall Jenner promoted it. All these various models and actresses or whatever, they promoted it. That's the one thing they knew. So that's the one thing that they wrote about. And so it was like, disaster, influencers. Influencers are the disaster. And that was the level of sophistication of the reporting at the time, because it's the only thing that they knew, it's the only thing they could say. They had to say something. And what they didn't stop to ask is one, is this really an influencer campaign? Because the New York Times doesn't care about that, because they don't bother with simple definitions like that. So I would want to take a step back at this point and say, look, were these really influencers?
Right.
No, they weren't. This wasn't an influencer campaign. It misses all of the key definitions. This is why definitions matter. Because if you're going to throw out a word like influencer, you better know why you're saying influencer and what you mean by it. And the thing that you mean by it is what everyone else knows and understands it to be. Kendall Jenner is not an influencer. She's a celebrity. She has a big social media following because she had celebrity in some other area, not because she built it up. An influencer is somebody who has built up their own audience because they're an expert in something, because they're passionate about something, because they want to do something well. Even if that thing that they want to do well is just live life and they want to vlog about it and tell that story, that's fine.
Right.
But that's what an influencer is. It's not a celebrity. Influencers can become celebrities, which happens a lot. And frankly, a lot of the people that Fyre used were influencers maybe at one time that had become celebrities. Now they've got millions of followers. There's no connection with their audience whatsoever. And this wasn't an influencer campaign. They posted an orange square.
I'd call this more of a series of celebrity endorsements.
It's a yes!
I would just say, we have Kendall Jenner, Bella Hadid, Chanel Iman, Hailey Baldwin / Bieber, now that she's married to Justin Bieber. I don't know if you knew that.
I've heard of Justin Bieber. I couldn't pick him out of a crowd.
Okay. He's Canadian.
I've also heard of that.
Well, anyway, celebrity endorsements with these very famous supermodels, like Victoria's Secret models, and they're all posting these washed out orange squares, which you can say from an overall marketing perspective, that's kind of smart to have these big, players in the space posting this with hashtag Fyre Festival. You're like, what is this orange square? What's it about? They're kind of a part of an exclusive crowd.
But that's an ad campaign.
Right.
It's not an influencer.
But it's not influencer.
They haven't told a story.
Right. They haven't said anything about it. They haven't tied it to their experience, haven't tied it to their brand or their audience. And again, like Joel was saying, their audience is, let's say for Kendall Jenner, for example, that was at the time 88 million followers. And none of those people are necessarily purchasing what she's putting out there. They're not connected to her. They're following her because she's a celebrity.
Right. Okay. So one, it wasn't an influencer campaign. If it was an influencer campaign, what would have looked and felt different if it was really an influencer campaign?
If it was really an influencer campaign, it would have been some of these models saying, hey, like I've, always wanted to go to a festival on the beach. You know that I've talked about, swimming or different products that have to do with the beach or traveling and adventure. And so I'm going to go out to this festival, and I have experience with either the owners of this festival, I have experience with people involved in the festival, and I want to be a part of this, and I want you guys to be a part of this.
Yeah.
That would
it would have been a real thing, and there would have been a real live element to it, like, hey, I'm going to do that. We're doing this meetup at the festival. I know that this is a real thing.
Yep.
I would also say, just this is inside baseball, but behind the scenes, whoever their managers were are like freaking morons. Because it's the manager's job to have vetted whether this was a real thing or not in a real festival. And just because some famous rapper is involved doesn't mean that rapper, he might be a very good and talented rapper.
Cait Joel.
I didn't know that. I was just, I don't want to, whatever.
Just tell them they don't know,
Okay, so Cait Joel may be a competent rapper. It doesn't automatically translate that he's a competent event organizer.
Right.
Like, that's a hard thing. The managers ought to have known, hey, the thing you're trying to do, a huge festival at a remote location that's difficult to get to is going to be a logistical nightmare, and you better have somebody that's got a pretty damn good proven track record of putting on this kind of big festival. Like, the manager should have handled that.
Right.
But it's, again, like, these are celebrity managers, not influencers. And it was, the whole thing was poorly vetted, but to put this, like the New York Times did, to put this at the views like, oh, like this is the rise and maybe now it's the fall of influencer marketing. Holy shit, were you wrong, New York Times? Influencer marketing has quadrupled since the time you wrote that inane ass article. Sorry.
I mean, honestly, if anything, I would say that this proves the power of influencer marketing. Not saying that these are influencers, not saying it's an influencer campaign, but if you're looking at it from that angle, you have a set of maybe 23 influencers at the beginning. It grew to 400 smaller influencers over time. These are, again, like 3 months up until the festival. These influencers are convincing these, very rich, millennial, young people to come to a private island on a festival that they have never heard of, and they convince about 8,000 people to buy tickets. So if anything, it's kind of showing, hey, if you have someone who does have influence, even over a small group of people, they can move them to come, and they can get, in this case, tickets sold.
Yeah, and I would say it would have been even more effective if there was a real event that was really going to happen, it was really going to be good. It could have, they could have done it well. They could have done a much better job. So listen, all right, these are our thoughts on the whole Fyre Festival. Now that we've spilled it and ranted it,
so that's it from us, our take on the Fyre Festival. I think that just for everyone wondering, from an influencer marketing agency's perspective, a manager and an influencer should be looking at the product or brand they're working with before agreeing to partner with them. And that's just something serious we talk to influencers we work with about, brands we talk to. There needs to be trust on both sides, and that was the problem here. So thank you.
There was no there.
Yeah. So thanks, Joel.
Thank you, Cait.
Thanks, audience. Follow us, comment, DM us about the Fyre Festival. We can talk about it more. We can talk about a specific topic, but just let us know, and goodbye from Detroit.
So long.